Now I'm starting to end on the top edge. That's where we'll end up. I'm going to come back. Now this one, I can't get too far in there. I'm going to come up and just continue again. Now you notice I'm not going all the way back to the dot. That's okay, as long as I stay on that same line. Okay, now we can't get in here anymore, so we're just going to start up here, come back around, go back. Now I have to go off the edge, imagining I'm still drawing. Come in, go back straight up, pretend I'm still drawing. Whenever I go off the page, I just want to mimic that motion still. Now if you notice here, this one got pinched off. Perfectly okay. Alright, so then I'm coming up and I'm adding to this tube. I'm coming up, adding to this tube. Gonna come around, coming in here, and then I'm just going back up. Okay, so now if I came from up here, I would come around and I would go in, go up and off. Imagine I'm coming around, I would come in, go up, come around. So I would come back in here, go back up. And so I'm just doing the same thing. It's just that now this one has ended. This one has ended here. Come up, come around, come up and come around. Now there's nowhere else for it to go. We're all done. So now I'm going to take my eraser, okay, and we're going to just eliminate that pencil line that's in the center because we want this to be just a straight grouping of tubes. So we don't want to divide that in the middle. Okay, so once you get to this point, you now have all your tubes done. Some of them have shortened, some of them have been cut off. Okay, so it's one continuous tube. So before I start color, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go over my red lines. Now these are what you will do in one color. I just wanted you to see how I was doing each row. Okay, so I'm just going to finish those up and then we'll start on the color. Okay, so I'll finish the rest of that and I'll show it to you when it's completely done. But right now I'm going to start thinking about my colors. I could do two colors. These are complementary colors. I could just do two of my favorite colors. I could do a different group of colors on each one. You could pick two colors and do the whole thing in those two colors. If you want to do one whole tube in one color, that's perfectly okay. So I'm going to start over here. So I'm going to start with this tube. Okay, well, why don't we start in the middle? I'm going to start at the end of this tube. And I'm going to put a very light layer of red on there. Now, this tube is round. That's why we have these contour lines showing us that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go darker on my outside edges just by putting more layers, and I'm going to leave the center light. Then I'm going to go to my next color. And again, I'm going to put a very light layer all the way across. And then I'm going to go back to my edge. This is where it's going down the side of the tube. So we want to have this a little darker, getting lighter as it comes up to the center. And then I'm going to go over to the other side, dark, fade to light in the center. Okay, that just means don't press as much. But we don't want to see like stripies. We want to be able to see a dark value, a mid value, and then a lighter value. It doesn't have to be white. It's a green tube, so it's going to have a little green in there wherever the light is. Now, as you notice, the tube is getting wider. As the tube gets wider, the shadow and the light get wider as well. So we're going to do our next layer. So we're going to just do a very, very light layer of value all the way across. We just talked about value. Okay, it describes the dimension of a form, the third dimension. It gives us that illusion. We're going to go dark in the deepest areas because darker values recede from our eye. Lighter values come towards our eye. Okay, so if you notice, I keep putting light layers, and what I'm trying to do, it's almost like a flashlight beam. If there's more surface, the light is going to hit it. So if it's narrower, the light area is going to be narrower, getting wider, and then this is the widest part, so it'll get much wider here. So I'm going to go across my middles. And remember, this is one continuous tube. So we want it to appear to be continuous. So we're going to keep this darker value, come out about the same distance, and then let it fade to light. We're going to go over here, and we want to keep this darker value, and then fade towards the light. Now you still want to go to the end of your section, because we don't want to have a white line outlining it. But if you notice, I can go much darker and then just slowly lift my pencil up so I get this nice mid value. So dark, fade to light. And just keep tweaking it until you get it just right. But if you notice, you can see that the light is getting wider as the tube gets wider. So we're going to continue on until we get this whole drawing done. So you can choose any colors that you like. You could do every tube a different value, a different color, but the values have to stay consistent. Okay, so you want to make sure that your eye is going to follow smoothly down the shadows, smoothly down that center, and just making sure that if it gets wider, then the light gets wider. So on this one, it would get much wider at the end here with the light and get narrower as it goes to the narrow end. Okay, so I'm going to continue working on this and I will post it for you. I would like for you guys to upload this to your Adsonia account and post your photo so that we can all share, see what everybody's come up with for color schemes. Okay, but I want to see really good craftsmanship. You want it to be super, super clean. So make sure that you're paying attention to your edges and keep your values really consistent. All right, try to have fun with it, and I will check in with you soon. Have a great day, guys. Stay healthy.